Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blazing bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Iceland, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say again. Idle champions.
Well, folks, this is why we have captions. Because OBS hates me. Facepalms in chat. Yeah, the mic didn't wake up. No, it just one of these days. One of these days, I wish when they would update it, it wouldn't just reset all of my settings. That would be nice. Anyway, welcome to the tutorial show. Where I'm going to talk for like an hour. And then there's going to be like an hour of questions. That's usually how this works. Pulling your questions from chat is Martin today. And, you know, Martin's over here going muted. You're muted. Muted. Sorry, Martin. Oh, boy. One of these days. One of these days. So yeah, today, Ahghairon's Day, year 5. We're going to talk about Prudence and Omen and, that Dark Lord that came to the game, Voronika. So yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll just, after all of that, I guess we'll dive, hold on. First, one of the people in my Discord saw something in the Idle Champions Discord, because I don't have the energy to be in the Idle Champions Discord lately, and put it into my Discord, and I was shocked. Somebody suggested that there should be a Dungeon Master skin that's me, and then they did a sketch of it. Folks, This way. This way. What the hell? I am not that adorable. That's adorable. I am not that adorable. That's like that looks like I would prance through the fields as people fought around me, and that's not. I'm not that adorable. I don't prance. That looks like they prance, but that's amazing. Holy shirt balls. Yeah, so that was a thing. So thank you to Beaver is Life in the Idle Champions Discord. Yeah, I didn't see it there, or I would go, thumbs up it. I saw it in my Discord. Yeah. Yep. Thanks to J-Dog for bringing that over to my Discord so I could see it. I've got fan art? I don't understand. All right. We're going to talk about Ahghairon's Day, folks. So in events, basically you have your normal campaigns over here on the left bar. Nice little campaign banner. But the events pop up at the top. They happen every 3 weeks, usually. Things are a little iffy the next couple months because the anniversary is coming up. So we're actually going to see back-to-back events. But when they pop up up here. They start on Wednesdays at noon Pacifically. And if you don't see it right away and you know there's an event going on, you restart your client. That usually fixes it. But your normal map screen, event map screen, there's always going to be like one adventure node, and 3 different adventures. Each adventure named after a champion, because that's how you unlock the champion. You just do this basic adventure. You get to Area 50. You complete it. And that's it. You get a champion. It's that easy. This is the primary method of champion delivery in this game. Every few weeks, there's an event with 3 champions. Now, 2 of those champions are from the past. Ooh, the past. And one's brand new. This year of Voronika, year 5. We're in year 5. We're in event year 5. Voronika is the very first, is the new champion. Prudence was from year 4. Omen was from year 3. Yes, there were year 2 and year 1 champions. The community has decided to refer to those as retired. Like they're off on a beach somewhere. And they don't work anymore. But no, they're time. You can get them in time gates. I like to call them time gate champions. You can get year 1 and year 2 champions in a time gate at any time. You don't have to worry about them right now. Focus on these 3. Grab these 3. And then next year when the event rolls around again, because events happen every year. There's 17 events. They happen once a year. There aren't new events. They don't change them. It's the same ones over and over again. Just kind of like holidays in the real world. When it comes back around, you will have already unlocked Prudence and Voronika, and you'll just have, the only one you'll have to do is whoever the new one is in year 6. Right? So, keep that in mind. That's how events work. So once you've done the unlock adventures, which are the basic versions, and you've unlocked the champions, you'll get access to their variants, because that's how this game works. There's always an adventure, and then there's up to 3 variants. Well, in events, there's always 3, and eventually in campaigns, there will be 3. That's what they work towards, is having 3 variants for every adventure. Each adventure costs everything you do, from regular adventures to the free plays to the variants. They all cost currency to start, which is new. This is the only place that does that. And you earn this currency, as we see over here, for this event. They're loot strings. You earn this currency just by playing the game. It's a time-based drop. You can't farm it. You can't speed it up or slow it down. Well, you could kind of slow it down. You can't speed it up, but it will catch up. It drops 1 every 25 seconds. Every time you kill something in the game, 1 drops. While I'm sitting here on the map screen, I'm not killing anything. So I'm not earning any. So I'm just going to stay at a static 5719. However, when I do jump into an adventure, the game is in the background is keeping track of how many I should have earned, and it will start dropping a lot and try to catch me back up. So keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about that too much. Again, 1 every 25 seconds. An event runs for about 12 days. You're going to earn a lot of tokens. You'll have enough to be able to do all the stuff. as long as you complete it on the first try, all the variants, as long as you complete them on the first try. And we're going to talk about kind of how to do that. The best way is to earn favor. Every new event has its own kind of favor, and it doesn't start this high. It starts at 0, like when you start a new campaign. However, events are much easier to push in, like to push deep in, and thus earn more favor in. So you can earn favor in events very quickly. More often than not, people get their highest areas they've ever achieved. Like when they get a new high, it's in an event because it's just easier to push deep in events. Not all events. Some events have bosses that are very rude. But sometimes you get fairly straightforward bosses, and you can just push really, really far in an event. So keep that in mind. For tokens, the unlock adventures. The newest one will always be full price. The past ones will be discounted. So full price to unlock is 100 tokens. For the ones in the past, it's a quarter of that, so it's 25. For the variants, the first one, full price 1,000, second 2,500, third 5,000. It's a lot of tokens. This is why we do this show, so that you can have some tips to make sure that if you go to do one of these variants, you're going to actually complete it and not waste these tokens, because like 5,000 is a lot just to try something and then fail and then lose those tokens, right? Now again, the others are a quarter of the amount, so 250, 625, 1250. That's the same up here. So a little cheaper, so that you can get make sure that you're getting everything done in an event without messing up how much you get in terms of gear. The variants guarantee you a gold chest as a reward. That's the completion reward for variants. When you do free plays, they're different than time gates. I always try to make this clear. Don't let anybody tell you it's the same thing. They are champion and gear delivery systems, but they are different. So in an event, when you do a free play, the completion zone is area 50. You can always go further if you want and get favor. But if you just get to area 50 and complete area 50 and then reset, finish your run, you will win a random chest for that champion. So right now I'm clicking on Omen. This would be a random Omen chest. It would be either silver or gold. There's a 1 in 3 chance that you will get a gold chest from a free play. But they do you what? That's a pretty good odds. But they do you even better. They actually have what's called a pity timer, or bad luck protection. You may have heard of that instead. The pity timer here is 4, and what that means is if you don't get a gold chest in the first 3, in that 1 in 3 chance, your 4th free play for Omen will get you a gold chest guaranteed. So that means every 4 free plays you do for any specific champion, you're guaranteed at least 1 gold chest. The rest are going to be silver, potentially. You could get really lucky and get 4 golds in a row. I've done that before. Once. A couple years ago. I miss it. It was nice. But that's just how RNG is going to work sometimes. Some events, you'll just run the pity timer every time, right? Now, keep in mind, I did say 4 for a specific champion. If I do 2 for Omen, 1 for Prudence, and then I go do 1 for Voronika, I've got 3 different pity timers going on. My pity timer for Omen will be at 2, my pity timer for Prudence will be at 1, and my pity timer for Voronika will be 1. Because it has to be, you don't have to do them in a row, but you have to do 4 for a specific champion for it to trigger the pity timer. Now, if you do 1 and you get a gold chest, that immediately resets your pity timer. If you do 3, you get 1 on the 3rd, that immediately resets your pity timer. You're not also guaranteed on the 4th, right? Pity timers are until you get what we're counting down towards, okay? So keep that in mind. That means that doing these adventures, doing free plays, at the massive cost of 2,500 loot strings, which is the highest amount they'll charge you. It starts at 500. Every time you do one, it goes up 500, but it caps at 2,500. So if we do 4 at 2,500, we spend 10,000 tokens. We're guaranteed at least 1 gold chest and 3 silver chests, but potentially more gold chests, right? This is a better deal than going into the shop and buying a single gold chest for 10,000 tokens. That's only there so that on the final day of the event, if you don't have time to run free plays, you can at least spend 10,000 tokens that you might have saved up on one gold chest. It is much better to spend your time doing free plays to 50, completing, and getting a random chest. Going deeper does not change what you might get. If you go to 500, you're not guaranteed a different chest. You just cycle to 50, complete 50, start over, get your chests, burn through your tokens. Real quick and easy. All right, we're going to talk about each of the champions specifically. So again, the year 3 champion was Omen, drawn head of Acquisitions Incorporated. We'll be listening to his song from Bardic Inspiration at the desk, or at the break. It's called "From the Desk of Omen Drawn." #ad. So stick around for that. Lords of Waterdeep is the. First off, I should mention each champion has their own formation layout. I don't know what they were going for here. It looks like a lizard. I don't know. Prudence looks like this. Veronika's is a crown. If you tilt your head to the side, that's a crown. I know where they were going with that one. But everyone has a different layout. That's because this is a formation strategy management game. So this is the puzzle you have to solve for this champion to try to build stuff. Now this means that Prudence's free play, probably the easiest one to push deep in. You get lots of adjacencies, which lots of champions like. Some of the best buffers enjoy adjacencies. You get a 2-tank front line, which helps to split up the damage from the enemies that you're fighting, so that you can last longer. So this is probably, for those who want to know, this is probably the best one for pushing deep. That doesn't mean a veteran could still do this here, but a new player is going to find this to be very challenging. And a new player might find this one a little challenging. So just keep that in mind. All right, Lords of Waterdeep. So this is the first variant. The first variant goal is always area 75. The second is 125. The third is 175. So 75, a masked lord. The restriction is what makes this difficult. A masked lord takes up a slot in your formation. An additional masked lord joins your formation every 25 areas. Clearly, this is not something we want to push deep in because we're going to run out of champions. Now, there's a strategy for that called click debuff, but we don't need it if we're only going to 75. Just know that you're going to start off missing one formation slot. At area 50 or at area 25, you're going to be down 2. At area 50, you're going to be down 3. Once you beat area 75, just complete this and go do something else. As long as you meet with the variants, as long as you meet the goals, I just recommend bouncing and working on the next thing. Push deep in your base adventures, the unlock adventures, and the free plays. So this one's not too hard. Just know that it's going to take a little more power to make up for the lack of champions, right? And in that regard, usually I recommend getting a little more favor. Before you do variants, you want them to show as easy. You don't necessarily need them to show as easy. You might be able to beat it before then, but why make it hard on yourself? If you just go get favor and come back when they all show as easy, you can roll right through if the third one shows as easy, you'll probably roll right through the first one and probably the second one too. This one may still be challenging. You got to figure that out. Okay. But use the favor stick early on to try to overpower stuff. All right. Vajra's command is the second variant. Only champions with a con score of 14 or higher, or an Associate of Omen, can be used. Associates of Omen include champions with the Acquisitions Incorporated or C-Team affiliation. So, if you have AC Inc. or other AC Inc. or C-Team champions, they can help out Omen in this formation. Otherwise, you're going to be restricted champions with con 14 or higher. This means you might not be able to fill out an entire formation, depending on how many champions you own currently and what their scores are, what their stats are like. So, just know, once again, for every kind of missing champion in your formation, so empty slot you have, you're going to want at least another order of magnitude favor. What's an order of magnitude? It's these E numbers. So right now I have like E50. You can refer to that as 50 orders of magnitude. So another EO1, maybe EO2 per lost slot. EO2 would guarantee it, but EO1 is a good way to go, because that means you're getting favor is increasing your gold find. Getting more gold means you're leveling up your champions more. Leveling up your champions more means they're stronger and they can make up for the lack of other champions. All right, so keep that in mind. Also, one thing, I don't always talk about this, but this is a good place to talk about it. If you want to know, because I was talking about wasting tokens, if you want to know if you can do this without actually hopping in and spending the tokens first, you can jump in a free play. Self-restrict yourself to champions that are Con 14 or higher. So only put those champions in the formation, or AC Inc. or C Team. See how far you can push. If you can push past 125, then yeah, you can go do it. If you can't, then you need more favor. Guess what? You're still in a free play. You can then put in a full regular formation push and get more favor. So you're testing it out, but you're not wasting any tokens, because you can use that run to get favor to make things easier. All right. So don't be afraid of stuff. If you can test it in a free play, go do that. The final variant for Omen, Fortune favors the bold. Omen begins in the formation and cannot be moved or removed. And they put a nice little C here. This means champion. I wish it was a different color, but it is what it is. So they'll be in the third column. Whenever a champion kills a non-boss enemy, the base attack cooldown of champions adjacent to Omen is reduced for their next attack. This helps with Omen's abilities. Omen's has an ability we're going to talk about called Champions of Tymora. This helps to help more people become a champion of Tymora and thus buff your group. Whenever a champion attacks but does not kill a non-boss enemy, that enemy moves faster and deals more damage. This is a problem. This effect can stack. This is a big problem. So having Omen in your formation is fine. I mean, this is hey, it's time to learn how to use Omen. The big problem with this variant is that second to last second, or the last two sentences. We'll just say the last two. Whenever a champion attacks but does not kill a non-boss enemy, that enemy moves faster and deals more damage. This effect can stack. Folks, please do not do this. If it is not showing as easy, do not even attempt it. Because if you are not one-shotting enemies, like those trash mobs that come up on all the levels, if you're not one-shotting them, they rush at your formation and start doing more damage. Now, if you can two-shot them, okay. I mean, yeah. But if you have to hit things like 5 or 6 times, every time you hit them, they're going to start attacking faster and doing more damage. That's bad. That's bad. That will overwhelm you real quick. They will wreck your tank and then the rest of your party. And you'll have a no good, very bad day. So, again, make sure you have them that shows difficulty as easy. That's the green color. That triggers at around 5 EO8 favor if you're not using scientific notation. You can change it to scientific notation in the settings so you know what that is. You can press Y. Y will change it. 5 EO8 is... Oh, I gotta do this. Every time I gotta do this on screen. 500 million. 500 million? Yes. 500 million favor is the minimum, I think, that turns it green. You might want 1 billion or 10. Yeah. So attempt at your own risk, because that could be real rough. All right. Spider, and you don't feel like you have to do these right away. This is the first weekend of the event. You can work on favor and progressing until next weekend and do it then, right? Spider climb, prudence. This is prudence's variance. Prudence's variance. So giant wolf spiders arrive in each area. No thanks. These spiders drop no gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. This is kind of a swarm. They're trying to swarm your tank, make you kill a lot of stuff, and not get any credit for it. Each time a spider is killed, a random champion is stunned for 2 seconds. Don't like it. That sentence means that at a certain point, well, because you only have to go to 75, you're going to stun a lot of your formation regularly, right? But the further you try to go, at some point, only your DPS is going to be killing things. And that means you'll be able to kill one spider, and then your DPS is stunned for 2 seconds. And then you can kill another spider, and then your DPS is stunned for 2 seconds. So this could get real bad if you try to push far, so don't do that. Just try to get to 75 and complete it. Only champions with a dex of 12 or higher can be used. So again, this is a stat restriction. You can test this out in a free play. But you know, see how many champions you have that are dex 12 or higher and go from there. Again, your completion area is only 75. That's not horrible. You can always overpower with favor. Again, I say overpowering with favor a lot. I'm going to keep doing it because 175 is an easy zone still to overpower with favor. As long as you can push and get, E10 or more favor, which if you're brand new may not be possible, but if you've done an event or two before, should be possible. People can help you build formations and push. You can ask the community. Okay, Gleefully Evil, because I don't know if you know this, but Prudence is evil. Only evil champions can deal damage. Prudence starts in your formation and her base attack cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. That's good because, as we're going to see here in a bit, Prudence's base attack is real long. So yeah. And that's it. The rest of this is just, hey, let's talk about Prudence. And that's nice. But honestly, we're going to talk about Prudence in more depth in a moment. So just know that, hey, Prudence is probably going to be your DPS here. If not, you can throw Jarlaxle in. You can have Jarlaxle be your DPS too. You only got to get to 125. Pure Hunger. A tentacle accompanies the formation. No one knows what it's doing, but it's freaking most of us out. Yeah, fair. It's going to be in that X spot up there. So this is a 9 champion formation. Enemies move 100% faster and deal 100% additional damage. Every 25, which that alone is not that big of a deal, folks. Honestly, I like it when they move faster because then they get up to the front line faster. They trigger the tank ramping buffs, and I just kill them faster. Every 25 areas, all enemies' speed and damage is increased by an additional 35% additively. Don't like that. So again, they're going to be doing more and more damage as you progress. And they'll be moving faster and faster. So they're definitely trying to swarm you. You definitely want as much favor as you can get. At least, EO8 or plus favor. Because you're going to be down 1 champion because of that silly tentacle. And everything's going to do more damage faster. So you need to make sure you have tanks that can survive that in the front. All right. Whenever Prudence kills an enemy, stun all enemies for a half a second. That's nice. If you're using Prudence. I don't know if it's worth it for a half a second stun, considering her base attack cooldown is so long and she's single target. If they'd made this stun all enemies for 5 seconds, I'd have been down. So don't think that using Prudence is going to get you a whole lot of nice stuff here. That's just, with the way they're going to swarm you, it's better to use like an AoE DPS or a multi-hit DPS. Keep that in mind. All right, Voronika. Voronika's first variant is the Fringe of Society. Voronika starts in your formation and can't be moved or removed. She's right up here where the C is, so the 4th column back. Only Black Dice Society affiliation members and evil champions can deal damage. So once again, you're going to need an evil DPS. You got Prudence. You also have Jarlaxle. He's a starter champion. Either one of those can work, or both. And if you have other Black Dice Society members, hey, great. But if not, just know that you do have options here. And it's okay that no one else is doing damage. It's going to slow your run down a little bit. Because usually everybody killing things clears levels out faster. But getting to 75 shouldn't be a big problem for you. As long as it, when I say that, I mean, as long as it shows as green, easy, right? Difficulty, easy. Ultimate Challenge. Again, Voronika starts in the formation, can't be removed. This time she can be moved around, though, if you'd like. After Area 25, champions deal no damage. Unless at least one ultimate is on cooldown. That makes it better. This is basically, hey, do you have a familiar? Good. Park it on one ultimate. Just pick one. Just pick one. Just sit it right on the ultimate. And you're good for the entire run. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. What they're trying to do here is teach you about another one of Voronika's abilities that stacks up bonus damage every time an ultimate gets used. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. But yeah, I think it probably would have been, well, that's what they're trying to do. Whether they got there or not, who knows? I don't know that they fully got there, but that's where they're going with that. So just make sure a familiar is on an ultimate, and you're fine. In Search of Power, as you can already see, we got some red X's here, so we're down a couple people. Voronika starts in the formation and can't be removed, but she can be moved around. Her base level up cost is reduced by 99%, so you're going to be able to level her up a lot. Well, not. I mean, 99% is a good amount, especially when you're starting off. So she'll be over leveled a little bit compared to everybody else. 2 Eladrin bodyguards join the formation. Additional orc fighters attack with each wave. They don't drop gold, nor do they count for quest progress. So here's the thing. This is really built for you to use Voronika with her Black Dice Society friend, Desmond. Desmond loves escorts. That sounds wrong. NPC escorts in adventure variants. If there are at least 2 escorts or dead champions, Desmond's Lament the Lost becomes a very large buff for your formation. The fact that you'll have 2 escorts and Voronika, who counts as dead, means Desmond would make this just a romp in the park. So if you have Desmond, use Desmond in this, and it's just gonna be easy breezy. If you don't have Desmond, it's still okay. You're going to get a little overpowering from Voronika, but you're probably going to want to make up for the lack of the 2 champions with a little more favor. Yeah. So in general, if you haven't noticed, if things look a little difficult in the restrictions, get a little more favor. You'll be better. And that's a little more favor beyond things looking easy already. I have a way more favor than I need, but usually if you get into the E10 range in favor, as we were talking about earlier, usually you can complete everything. Usually. Occasionally there's an exception to that. So keep that in mind. All right, we're going to hop into one of these. We'll hop into Voronika's and set up in the crown. Let's remove, throw a familiar out. Hey, it's Triavor. Triavor's joining us today. All right, here's Voronika. What else do I got? I got Omen. Let's throw each of these in the formation. And Prudence. Why can I never remember where Prudence is? 4, 5, 5, 5. Not 4, 5. There. That works, right? Sure. No, let's move everybody up like this. No, back down. Everybody dance. All right. All right, here we go. So, let's throw a bunch of familiars out and then just move forward. And then just move forward. While we do this, let's talk about Omen Drawn. Let's talk about Omen Drawn. Level up. All right. Omen joins us from Acquisitions Incorporated. Half-elf cleric, lawful neutral. Their roles are support and gold, which makes a lot of sense. Well, the support doesn't, but the gold does. Omen doesn't support anybody. Not in Act 8 at least. But he likes gold. But in this game, he's a support champion. Basic attack, appropriate intervention. Omen smashes the nearest enemy with his maul. Ultimate attack, Spirit Guardian. Omen summons 15 Spirit Guardians, which damage a random area every 2 seconds. Here's what it looks like. It's pretty neat. Look at it. As each of these little, they pop and they go away, they do damage around them. and they'll just hang out and do their thing. And then when there's guardians on the screen, it affects the duration of the Champion of Tymora ability, which we'll talk about in a moment. Omen's first ability, Shadow Council, increases the damage of champions adjacent to Omen. So there's your formation building tip or clue. When it says, hey, this buffs things adjacent, that means you want this champion adjacent to your DPS for this effect to work. If you don't put them adjacent to your DPS, it's not really helping you. Not really helping you. Champion of Tymora. Every time Omen attacks, they bless all adjacent champions as a Champion of Tymora, increasing their damage by an amount for 3 seconds. So, that's this little icon here, is Champion of Tymora. You'll note, they haven't blessed anybody. If I move them back here, when they attack, when they're there, now they've blessed Prudence, and the little timer, it starts counting down around the outside. You can see it ticks off and it goes away. We can do this again now, both of them, right? But here's the thing. Here's what it doesn't tell you, and this gets me every time. There is more to know about this ability than they put in the game. If Omen attacks and blesses this champion can then attack and bless champions adjacent to them. This is information that's in the Champion Spotlight and in my guides on the subreddit, but not in the game. So you can spread Champion of Tymora, see? Now Voronika has it, throughout a formation based off the attack speeds. Based off attack speeds. This is the key to getting there at the Omen's achievement. You just have to place champions around Omen. I recommend, if we're going to talk about the achievement real quick, it's basically, we might as well, because it's linked to this ability. Here we go. Army of Tymora. Maintain Champion of Tymora on all champions in the formation for at least 30 seconds. Do this in Sword Coast. You can put Omen right in the middle. He'll be surrounded by champions, and there will only be one on the outside. If you have Acquisitions Incorporated members, put them in as well. But if not, you can do this with base champions. Try to put the ones in the middle that are around Omen, have those be the ones with the faster attack speeds. So if you have people in the 3 or 4 second range, or 5, but if they're 9 seconds, like 7 to 9 seconds, like Prudence, those maybe should be on the outside. Maybe those should be on the outside. Voronika with her 10-second cooldown. They should maybe be on the outside, right? Have someone that's a little bit faster, because then they'll spread it to everybody else, right? Now, the other key to that achievement is once you've got that set up, pop the ultimate. Pop the ultimate. Because the ultimate lasts for 30 seconds, and as long as the ultimate is going, the duration of Champion of Tymora is doubled, which keeps Champion of Tymora up longer. I know I see people in chat talking about using champions that make faster attack speeds. It's unnecessary. You can do this with Omen and your core champions just by setting it up correctly with faster attackers around Omen, and then hit Spirit Guardians, Okay, you can get that achievement. I promise. All right, so that's Champion of Tymora. Just know that there's information that's missing from this, and that's what you need to know to get that achievement. Contractual obligations. Oh, okay. So Shadow Council and Champion of Tymora, those are your buff things. They require being adjacent. It's super nice. Spreading it throughout the party, super nice. Contractual obligations. Every time a champion in the column in front of Omen attacks, they fulfill an obligation to Omen. When Omen reaches 100 obligations fulfilled, he grants 100% gold find buff for each champion in the column in front of him for 30 seconds. Now, this says for each champion, not to each champion. The gold find buff is for the entire party, but he takes the 100% and changes it based off the number of champions in the column in front of him. So it would just be 1 here, Omen in this formation would be better off put here, so there'd be 3 in front of him. Not only does that speed up how his obligations, he gets them faster, and the buff is higher. It also means that he gets them faster and the buff triggers more often, but it also means the buff's going to be higher. So that's another formation placement cue for Omen, if you're focusing on some gold find. And Omen is fantastic in Azaka farming, so that's something to keep in mind. Specialization. We can go back and we can adjust with the specialization how Shadow Council works. Shadow Council starts as an adjacency buff, but specializations can change that. So, Long Lost Friends, Shadow Council now applies to champions not adjacent to Omen, and is increased by 85% for each champion of Tymora in the formation. So it gets buffed based on how Champion of Tymora is spreading, by 85% per. And if the formation doesn't allow you to put Omen next to the DPS because you have other higher priority buffers, then you would choose this. Close Allies keeps it at adjacent and increases it by 100% for each champion of Tymora in the formation. So that's nicer. If you can keep that adjacency, still a nice. That's a little bit better buff than the non-adjacent one. Assassin gets real finicky, but it pays off a little better. Shadow Counselor now applies to champions farthest from Omen and is increased by 125% for each champion of Tymora in the formation. So bigger multiplier, but requires farthest? Probably, maybe. I don't know, feels better. From Omen. What does that mean? If I put Omen here, it doesn't mean that it's gonna that this is the furthest in the back. It means that this is the furthest in the front. It would go to Prudence. So it's not just like the furthest in a direction. It's literally the furthest. So you have to be very careful. This doesn't always work in a lot of formations. If I go here, it's actually going to make them both be considered furthest, which means the DPS would either have to be all the way back here or be over here. If I put them here, it's only going to be here. So some formation layouts aren't going to work for Assassin. All right, Omen specializations are very much about the formation layout. Some might work for Assassin, some might not. Some might work for adjacent, some might not, and you got to go here. So just keep in mind that it's really about the formation layout is what you're looking for when you're trying to choose a specialization. See what you can make work, and it doesn't. If you can't get around this by just not putting somebody here and putting somebody here, this formation spot is the furthest and is the one that would receive the buff. So you can't play games with it, even though it's a video game. All right. Known associates. This is like the synergy ability with other Ack Inc. members and C team members. So the duration of Champion of Tymora is doubled on champions with the Ack Inc. And or the C team affiliation. So this just helps you keep up Champion of Tymora longer. It's good for spreading it through a formation, so it's on as many people as possible. So yeah. It's nice if that's what you're working with. It's just going to help keep that buff up and keep your damage a little more consistent. That's everything. Item wise, we get a damage of all champions item. We get to buff Shadow Council. We can buff Champion of Tymora. We can buff Contractual Obligations. So we get both of the damage buffs and we get the Gold Find buff. So good itemization. Ultimate attack damage goes up, and that's great because honestly, those Spirit Guardians can do some work. And then reduces ultimate cooldown, right? So you have it up more often. Feat-wise, damage all champions. We've got Gold Find, but even better, we've got Contractual Obligations at 40%. That's an even better Gold Find than this one, as long as it's triggered. This is constant, but this one gives you bigger boosts. We got Shadow Council, but nothing for Champion of Tymora. So keep that in mind. You only buff the main ability, Shadow Council. I should probably buy that one. There we go. That's Omen. And Omen doesn't have any skins. Huh. That seems like an oversight. All right, next up is Prudence. Prudence joins us from the Ox Venturers. Oxventure's Guild. I forgot to hover over here. Acquisitions incorporated. Technically, Jim, Morgaine, Omen, and Vi are currently the Ack Inc. ones. C team members, though, also qualify for their stuff. And the C team is Dinar, Cathris, Rosie, and Walnut. So they kind of have this dual affiliation thing going on. So you can use a wider variety of people. But Oxventure's Guild, we've got Corazon, Merylwyn, Prudence, and Rust. And there's a couple more, I believe, still on the way. So this is not a finished affiliation. There will be more. They're a Tiefling Warlock, Chaotic Evil, and they're DPS. They like to kill things. Which is shocking considering their base attack is a 7-second cooldown Eldritch Blast, which is the slowest attack in the game. Eldritch Blast specifically is the slowest attack in the game. 7 seconds isn't helping it much either. So just know if you're using Prudence as a DPS, you need a couple things. You either need somebody speeding up her base attack, and there's a couple different ways to do that. She has a specialization which can trigger an extra base attack, or you need support champions who can create AoE effects for her. Supports that can do that are supports like Baloth. Baloth marks an enemy, and when a DPS hits them and kills them, it can cause damage explosions around them and create an AoE. Crawl does that with his Traitor buff, Traitor Plague. So there's ways to create AoEs with support champions, and there's ways to speed up attacks. And you need you need either of these or some combination of these to make a slow single target attacker work for you. So just keep that in mind. It's not that you can't use them. It's just that they're a little more fiddly, but the reward could be good. Ultimate, Hunger of Hadar. Prudence opens a gateway to the dark between the stars, damaging and pulling enemies to it. If we go down here, tentacles erupt out of it, pulling all enemies together. I don't know if I can show this off. I don't know that we can. Let's take a bunch of enemies out. Can we get more on the screen? Can I get more than one? There we go. Boom! If it hadn't killed them instantly, it would have sucked them in. It's a magnet. So it will suck everything in around it if it's nearby and put them in a clump for you to kill at your leisure. Let's put stuff back out here and keep moving. Boom. All right. Hunger of Hadar is a mirror to Warden's ultimate. It's the same thing. So there are a couple of different magnets in the game, and she's got one of them. But Prudence's kit really is all about, hi, I like to kill, and when I don't kill, I get frustrated about it. And then I do more damage. Everything just buffs herself, and it's great. So Glee. Prudence gains 1 stack of Glee each time she kills an enemy. For each stack of Glee, her damage increased by 10%, stacking additively. Glee has a 25% chance to lose 1 stack whenever a champion other than Prudence gets a kill. So as long as she's the only one killing, she does more damage. Delight increases the damage bonus of Glee by 100% for each good aligned champion in the formation, stacking additively. So if I don't necessarily build around this, but if your champion has good, if your formation has other good champions in it, so not evil, on the right hand side it would say good, she's going to get a damage bonus because she likes killing things in front of good people apparently. Resolve increases the max stacks of Prudence's Glee for each neutral or evil champion in the formation. So there is a max stack of Glee. It starts off at 10. I want to say it's 10. Hold on, let me double check. 20. 20? Do I have an effect that's... No, okay. So it starts off at 20. It doesn't tell you that anywhere. Again, the game leaves information out sometimes. But you can find it over here on the formation buffs. And when you add these other champions in, again, we've got a neutral and an evil in these 2 champions. So that's going to add 10 to each of those. And thus we can stack up her damage even higher as she's killing. So again, it's a nice thing to do, but it's not, it is a little bit of thing. You want to use like the best possible champions that are going to help you, but just remember, there's going to be diminishing returns to how much bonuses she's getting here. Like, is it worth putting a different champion in or not? Her achievement is based around this though, so we should probably talk about that for a moment. Watch and learn. Have Prudence defeat 1,000 enemies while she has more than 50 Glee stacks. The key here is more than 50. So that Glee stack total needs to be at 60 or higher. If it's at 50, it's not going to work. So get it to 60 by building a formation that has enough of these evil or neutral champions, so non-good champions. Get it so that it reads 60, and then she has to kill 1,000 things. If you get it to 50, it's not going to count because it says over 50. Over 50. Frustration. So what happens when she stops killing? Every time Prudence attacks an enemy but doesn't kill it, she gains a stack of frustration. Frustration stacks increase her damage by 200%, stacking multiplicatively. That's the good way. So when she stops killing things, she gets even more damage, and the longer she can attack, the more it's going to ramp up. The maximum number of frustration stacks is equal to the number of champions adjacent to her. Frustration stacks are reduced by 1 each time she gets a kill. So that's your placement queue. Up till now, we haven't had a formation placement queue for Prudence. You want her surrounded by as many people as possible. We wouldn't want to put her back here. There's only 2 around. This is 3. This is 4, though. She's got 4 spots around her. So's this. Come back to me. So's this, and so's this. So you would want her in one of these 3 spots in this specific formation layout. So just make sure she's surrounded by as many people as possible. That's going to give you the maximum effect of frustration as you're fighting an enemy. Normally frustration's bad. In this case, frustration's good. Her specializations, again, this is these trigger things. So Eldritch Torrent, when Prudence attacks, there's a 50% chance that her base attack cooldown will be immediately reset. So this is a way to get her extra attacks. If you don't have any way to speed up her attacks or get her extra attacks, you would go Eldritch Torrent. Now, if you have already got her firing off like a machine gun somehow, and there are ways to do that, you would probably want to go with She Hungers. When Prudence attacks, there's a 10% chance that her ultimate attack cooldown is immediately reset. And her ultimate damage is increased by 200%. So this means you could fire off your ultimate more often. And just spam it. Normally, it's a fairly long cooldown, about 3 minutes or so, maybe higher. But if you can just, with a basic attack, trigger that to reset, great. So if you already somehow built a machine gun Prudence, you would then want to be able to just fire it. You'd want to park a familiar on that ultimate and just do devastating things. Maybe we'll show off a machine gun Prudence a little later. It's not as machine gun as it sounds because Eldritch Blast is the slowest attack, but it's still pretty neat. All right, that's everything. Item wise, she gets a self-damage item. Of course she does. She can buff her Glee. She can buff Delight. She can buff Frustration. So she buffs all the things you want. She can also do more. She gets a bonus to ultimate attack damage, and she can reduce the cooldown. This one, arguably, I mean, if you go the other spec and you're popping it off all the time. But still, you get a lot of good itemization here. Feat-wise, self-damage, we can buff Glee. We can buff Frustration. There's a lot of self-damage if you want to pay lots of gems. And there's even one for Delight. So she's got, depending on how you want to stack her, you can kind of, and what the adventure is like. Are you really pushing deep? You might want to go bonus to Frustration. So it depends on what numbers you're really looking to give bonuses on. She's got decent feats for that. And she does have a skin. She's got Icewind Dale Prudence. So she looks a little cozy. Looks a little more cozy in that one. All right. Voronika. Voronika is the newest champion, and she is fiddly, folks. She's some of these champions, I would say, are very idle friendly, very automation friendly. Some aren't. There are multiple champions in the game that aren't really automation friendly. Voronika is not automation friendly. So she's very much kind of a manual play. You could set it up, you could trigger a lot of things, and then you could let it idle. But she needs a little attention before she's going to really deliver for you. So Voronika joins us from the Black Dice Society. Already there are Desmond, Nahara, Tatiana, and Valentine along with her. There might be more. I seem to recall there being more people, but I don't know how many are actually going to show up in the game. She's a Ladrin Druid, Chaotic Evil. Basic attack, Produce Flame. Her basic attack is going to change. A lot of what she is and does is going to change by something I will explain in a moment. Produce Flame. Voronika creates a flame in her hand, which she fires at a random enemy. 10-second cooldown, folks. She's not a DPS. She is a support. This is the longest base attack cooldown in the game. Yeah. Abilities. Level 0. This means this triggers before you even bring her in. Wed, then undead. After being killed on her wedding night, Voronika became a ghost. Voronika continues to attack and can be attacked like normal. So, this is her ghostly form. This is why Desmond counts her as undead. She just counts as undead because she's a ghost. She's a ghost. So she works well with Desmond. She works, and Desmond likes champions like her and Spurt when Spurt's dead, and Blushie when Blushie's dead. So works very well with the Black Dice Society in that regard. Calculating Guidance. Voronika increases the damage of all champions in the column in front of her by 100% for each champion in the formation that is either a member of the Black Dice Society or evil. So she likes the BDS Society or she likes evil champions. So she is definitely an evil formation buffer. So for those of you who like to build evil formations, she might be someone you want to look into to do that. This stacks additively until Voronika completes her search for the crown, when it changes to stack multiplicatively. So Voronika in a Black Dice Society formation or an evil formation, once you've completed Search for the Crown, which we'll talk about in a moment, she goes from just an okay buff where it's stacking additively to then each member multiplicatively applying their buff, that total together, which just ramps the number way up. So if we look at Calculating Guidance right now, look, we have 2 stacks, 200%. Not a big deal. I actually kind of want to throw some more evil people in here. And let's just throw Blushie in, just so you can see what this looks like, kind of when it's just sitting at a more stable... No, she's like neutral, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, Black Dice Society? No. Tatiana. No, Makos is, right? Yeah. Makos. What do we got? We got like 2 more. Torgar is a bad boy. And Warden, right? Yes. Okay. So now if we go look over here, Calculating Guidance, 900%. Doesn't seem like a big deal, right? Doesn't seem like a big deal. Until we complete Search for the Crown. It does not explain Search for the Crown over here. Again, why? But it does over here. Search for the Crown. Voronika's search for the Crown of Raven Queen requires her to complete 3 goals. When Voronika completes all 3 goals, she acquires the crown, transforms into her Dark Lord form, unlocks her ultimate attack, and improves her base attack. So basically, just Super Cyan mode. So the goals are always the same. She needs. You have to defeat 2,000 enemies with her Inner Circle champion in the formation. We'll talk about that in a moment. Doesn't need to be killed by the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle champion just has to be in the formation. Voronika needs to be upgraded to 750. And 50 ultimate attacks from champions other than Voronika have to be used. So you have to do these 3 things. This is when I said she's fiddly. To get her into her final form, You need to make sure you're doing these things. Okay, so let's talk about, because we just talked about Inner Circle, let's talk about the Inner Circle champion. Here we go. It's her first specialization. 3 random champions that are eligible for the adventure are chosen. You have to pick one. You have to pick one to be her in her inner circle. Being in her inner circle means that champion then gets labeled as part of the Black Die Society if they aren't already. So if you had good champions that got picked instead of all these evil ones, that good champion would then become a Black Die Society and would still trigger her calculating guidance ability. I'm going to make it Toragar here, because we've already got Toragar in the formation. So now, as we kill things, it's going to start tracking search for the crown kills, and when we get 2,000, that's gonna mark off that ability. I should also probably level these up further so that I get their ultimates. I'm just gonna pick some things because I'd like to trigger her Dark Lord form. I mean, wouldn't everybody? Voranika is the Dark Lord of Koshmar, if you're wondering, which is one of the Dread Domains. I don't care. I just want your ultimate. I don't care about you. You're only here for your ultimate. All right. There we go. There's the other. Oh, that's not. What am I doing? I don't need to level them up. All right. Yeah, that's 9. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and the screen's going to get real full, folks. Apologies, but we need to level this up. So let's search for the crown. She gets that ability at 100. Then she gets the specialization choice at 110. Let's go ahead and throw more stuff in here because there's going to be another specialization choice. I am now over 750, so that's going to count. That's going to tick off here. That's completed. All right. I saw that comment about me not knowing evil formations. I don't build evil formations, so yeah. Everybody plays the game differently. I don't build evil formations. Ultimate power. Voranika increases the effect of calculating guidance by 20% for each use of an ultimate while she's in the formation. Notice this doesn't say use of her ultimate. It's just an ultimate. Stacking additively and applying multiplicatively. Caps at 1,000,000. These stacks persist until reset. So she is what I call a ramping champion, which means you put her in, you ramp up her bonus, and she just gets better the more you can ramp it up. The more you can ramp it up. If we come over here and we look, we're already at 4. Hey, 4 ultimate attacks used, and it's a very small bonus, right? But this is going to just slowly pop off throughout the whole adventure as you're going. You can farm this. There are some champions who have faster ultimates than others, like Havilar's ult. If you choose Havilar and you go Speedy Sacrifice, which is her left setting, she can pop her ult off like every 10 seconds or something like that. It'll help you stack this up real quickly. But this is a very Xeraphon-like ability. Xeraphon's a Evergreen champion, and they get more powerful the more you use their ultimate. But this one it ramps off everybody's ultimate. So pretty interesting feature there. But that does mean you want Voranika in early. And you want familiars on all ultimates. So again, she's a very manual play champion, very fiddly champion. But it pays off. That's all of her stuff. Okay, and we don't have an ultimate to talk about yet until we get there. How are we doing? 300 kills, 20. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a little speed on this. Just a little bit. And we'll talk about items, except I can't because I don't have them yet. So we're going to take a moment. I'm going to go talk about the feats first. I actually left this time because I wanted to talk about how we don't ever talk about this on this show. I'm going to talk about what's the best way to gear up your new champions when you get them from an event. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Feats. Damage all champions. We get calculating guidance. Great. We get ultimate power. Great. We get an int bonus. This is int +1. This allows her to qualify for Strahd, patron Strahd stuff. Then there's a new type of feat, extended support. This changes how calculating guidance works. It makes it target the next 2 columns. So normally calculating guidance, if you remember back, is the column in front of her. So instead, if you slot extended support, it buffs 2 columns in front of her. This could be fantastic. This could be fantastic. Oh yeah, we do have to go back and talk about the second specialization. I'll get there. So you could extend it further. This could be because you can't put her in the column behind. It could be because this is a positional formation ability and you want it applying to more people so that it gets more bonuses. Hey Artemis, what's up? Artemis isn't the only one now. But yeah, people who like positional formation abilities, that could be nice, right? So keep in mind, she has some pretty neat feats. Specializations. So this affects the Inner Circle champion. Assist the puppet. The Inner Circle champion gets increases depending on their roles. Champions with multiple roles get all the benefits. So there's bonuses for DPS, support, or tanks. Right now we have it on Toragar. Toragar is getting Toragar's DPS and support. So if we come down here, I'm actually going to choose the Assist the Puppet. Hold on. Dispose of the Fool means after she's achieved her Dark Lord form, she increases the effect of calculating guidance by 100%. If you kick the Inner Circle champion out of your formation. So Assist the Puppet is if you leave them in. Dispose the Fool is if you kick them out. So we're going to leave them in. And we're going to go to Toragar. So we are assisting the puppet. Toragar's the puppet. So the DPS for Toragar is increased by EO7. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic buff just off the base. But then support increases the potency of Toragar's formation abilities by 200%. So you're getting multiple buffs here. Just right away because Toragar's our puppet. All right. I believe we're getting closer. Yep, we're over halfway there. We've already got the 50 ultimate attacks, so I'm going to take these off because that's getting messy. Just make sure. Yeah, assist the puppet. Okay. More upgrades, but we're not quite there yet. So once Voronika hits that final goal, a couple different things are going to happen. She's gonna actually change form. She's gonna become the Dark Lord of Koshmar. She's still gonna count as dead, so you don't have to worry about that. She's gonna get her ultimate attack, and her basic attack is gonna change. Her basic attack changes into a dot, a bud-based dot. She sets enemies that she hits on fire, and they burn with bud damage for 5 seconds. This is fantastic. This means as a support, she can actually help you kill armored enemies. As long as your bud is enough to take off an armor segment, she's going to burn them and remove 5 segments. She's going to do the same for hit-based stuff, but everybody can remove hit-based stuff. So the big one is armor. As long as your bud is high enough that ultimates are potentially could chew off armor, that your bud damage could chew off armor, she's going to remove 5 of them. And she'll do that every time she attacks because her attack is 10 seconds. She'll burn off 5, and then 5 seconds later she'll then trigger a dot to burn 5 more. So that's great. We don't have a champion that does stuff like that. We have champions that affect armor stuff, like you'll get extra credit for armor segments with like Esmeralda and Human. They'll give you double credit. We've got Gosrick, who reduces the damage threshold you need to remove an armor segment. But this is the first time we've had a support champion that can actually burn away with their basic attack. Ultimates, obviously. There are a number of ultimate attacks in the game across a variety of champions that can help just melt armor segments. But we've never had a basic attack that becomes something that can melt armor segments. I'm hoping we see a little more of that in the future. All right. I'm going to let this do its thing, and we are going to go take... Oh, wait, hold on. Achievement. Let's talk about the achievement real quick. For Koshmar, have Voronika achieve her Dark Lord form 10 times. There's no way around it, folks. You're just going to have to manually play Voronika 10 times and get her into a Dark Lord form. That's it. There's no automating this because, again, she's not an automation-friendly champion. You have to get her into her Dark Lord form. Then you can idle with her. So to do this, you've just got to do it 10 times. No way around it. No way around it. Let us... Are we almost there? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're so close, folks. I'm going to do this. We'll let it trigger. We'll change. And then we're going to talk about how to get gear on champions. I guess I can start talking about that now. We've already talked about how you do variants. Variants guarantee you 3 gold chests. Free plays can get you silvers and golds. So doing all the variants is usually is recommended for all the champions. That at least gets you 3 guaranteed gold chest slots. Gold chests can drop green, blue, and purple gear. Purple being the best. Silvers only just drop white, green, and blue. There's another chest, though, that you get. You got one today from this stream, I hope. Electrum chests. Electrum chests can drop white, green, and blue gear for all champions. So it is a larger pool because it's for every champion you own. But that's what we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with those 3 types of chests. All right, we have transformed. Our Lady of Darkness, Voronika, the Dark Lord of Koshmar. So you notice she now does not look like a ghost anymore. She has a more physical form. We have a new ultimate here called Horrifying Visage. Voronika moves in front of the party, magically damaging and pushing back all enemies. Any surviving enemies do reduced damage for 30 seconds. And if I remember correctly, it's like 90% reduced or something like that. So it's a nice, not only is it a damage and a crowd control, it's also damage reduction. You'll see the Produce Flame Dark Lord base attack has changed. So the target's lit on fire. And it takes damage for 5 seconds. So that's there as well. So all of the things that we wanted. We get the ultimate attack, we get the improved base attack, and visually she is now a Dark Lord. Yay! Now, remember, Search for the Crown did one more thing. This isn't just to get her an ultimate attack and to get a cool base attack and to make her look cool. This is about calculating guidance from additive to multiplicative. Remember, before, it was, what, a 900% bonus with 9 evil or Black Dice Society members in? Calculating guidance is now an EO 9% bonus. I have no gear on her. And we went from 900% to EO 9%. EO 9%. So this can be a potentially serious bonus when you get multiplicative. And when we get gear, it's just going to go up. It's just going to go up. My ultimate power is already up to EO 4, and I only have 84 stacks. So that's a nice free bonus. And remember, all of this is without gear. The support, the assist the puppet bonus for DPS was EO 7. If you can get your puppet, if it lines up that the puppet is your actual DPS, that's a nice bonus as well. So let's go open some chests. So here are Electrum chests, as you're aware of. Here are Silver Voronika chests, and here are Gold Voronika chests. So again, Electrums and Silvers drop the same kind of gear. White, green, and blue. Golds are going to drop the green, blue, and purple, right? There is a preferred order of operations here. When you get new champions and you unlock all the new champions in an event, you want to pop your Electrums first. This is because we already know where the named silvers and golds are going to go. They're going to go straight to that champion. They can't go anywhere else. But these could go anywhere. And they will focus a little bit more on champions that don't have gear or still need upgrades that they offer, as long as their role triggers an upgrade. So this way we can focus gear straight onto new champions, and then you can go in later and just directly place gear on them with these. I have a bunch of these. This is just how many that I saved up since the last event. There's all 6 items. So I've got a ghost. I've got a blue ghost tiara. That's great. I'm going to open up more. Because technically I could go to full blue with just Electrums. Yeah, and there we did it. I did it. I think. Nope, that was a duplicate because, again, it could go everywhere. So I'm still missing... Oh, no, that was it. Yeah. So I got full blue on Voronika, duplicates from somewhere else. Now it's just going to do duplicates because it's lost its focus, right? Because I already got everything it could offer for the new champion. There we go. Everything's full blue now for Voronika. Full blues. Calculating guidance is now an E10 bonus. Ultimate power is still in the E4 range. Assist the puppet on Torgar. How's it gone up? It will have gone up, but how much? It's now an E10 bonus. Ooh. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. If you can make the puppet, if your DPS is your puppet, Voronika's got some buffs for you. Now that's also fleshed out if you have a collection screen. That's also fleshed out your collection screen. As you can see, I missed some whites, but that's fine. I'm going to go back in. What was my average item level? That was what I was really going there for. Average item level is 1 because I don't have a lot of duplicates yet, of course. I'm now going to go in and when I dump these, I know it's going to be silvers. They're all going to be duplicates, but that's fine because that buffs my item levels for this champion, and that makes Voronika stronger. But now when I go in with the golds, now I'm hunting, because I'm already blue, now I'm hunting for epics, right? This is the better kind of order of operations. So electrums, then named silvers, then named golds. Oh my. Hey, I'm full epic, folks. That wasn't guaranteed. You need 54 chests to guarantee you if it goes full pity timer. But hey, I got full epic. Yay! I will continue working on Voronika chests throughout the event because I want to get her average item level. It's now 106. I'm going to give it as high as possible. I got all the items. I got all the epics. Now let's go take a look at her damage bonus. Higher, 8E10 now. So it went up a little bit. 6E4, so about twice as good going up with the item levels. And Torgar assist the puppet is 8E10. So there you go. Adding more item levels will make that nicer for her. And also using more ultimates, which I stopped doing. Which we'll start doing now. Oh no. Did I bug? We bugged the boss. We bugged the boss somehow. There we go. So we'll ramp up in the background. We're going to take a quick musical interlude, and then I will get to the Q&A, which I see we already have like over a dozen questions over there. So I will get to that. And we will let her unlimited power stacks buff up, and this will get a lot higher. This will get a lot higher. We'll check into it, if I remember, at the end of the stream. At the end of the stream. All right, we're going to go listen to Omen's song, and then we'll be back to do questions. If you have questions on this topic or on any topic, throw them in. Martin's been pulling them into the document, and I will get to them in the second half. Be right back, everyone.
Started out with a simple tune, friendly and saccharine like a cartoon. Let the listener have no doubt, they need to feel the fear of missing out. We'll inspire them with epic riffs and emotional music gifts. Rouse your feelings toward our cause, and our ad with arousing applause. And then the hook should be big and strong and catchy to distract them from noticing we're sketchy. Do a chord shift on the chorus to make the rooms adore us. There's more for us when we swindle their trust. On a customer recruitment run, 'cause our old clients are all out of funds. Avoid talking about any deals, we just want to give them the feels. And then the hook should be big and strong and catchy they're purchasing. Try to keep it soft and sweet and gentle. Coerce these fools with something sentimental. Appeal to their greed, make them think it's our sweet need. Then we'll get tamer for the final disclaimer. There's more for us when we swindle their trust.
Yeah, okay, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey, and we're back, and that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yes, I did hydrate during the break. I'm going to go through and attack all of these questions that Martin so kindly put into the document for me. Let me see if we have any that are specifically about events or this event. Clemshine, if you run 4 parties, will you get 4 times the event tokens? Nope. You get 1 every 25 seconds. You get 1 every 25 seconds. It doesn't matter if you've got speed potions going. It's a server side calculation. So it doesn't matter if you're in multiple parties. It's just 1 every 25 seconds. If you want more tokens, if you're like me, and I know I am, you want more tokens. You all saw how many chests I just opened up. That means I ran a lot of free plays. Obviously, I got a lot of tokens. How did I do that? I used these things called bounty contracts. So bounty contracts give you they're time-based rewards, and that means they'll give you like offline gold, which is kind of garbage. Don't worry about that. But event tokens as well, and I burned about 2,000 of those green ones, and then a couple hundred of those, and a dozen or so of those, and some small ones over here. Whatever I had saved up from the last event, and that got me like in the EO5 range for tokens, and then I did lots of free plays. I just automated free plays to 50 over and over and over again, Wednesday and Thursday, and got all those chests so that I could open them today. So that's one of the reasons why I say, hey, if you've got gems, you should be buying gold chests, because gold chests drop bounty contracts. Bounty contracts get you more gear for event champions. It's just a win. It's a win. It's power. Get yourself some power. And don't open bounty contracts outside of events. There's no reason for that. Antelope, can champion specific gold chests drop their gold chest of feats? No. So when you I can't do it because I already got all of her feats. But when you come in here and it says, hey, there's feats you don't have, and instead of gems over here, it shows you a gold chest. That means regular gold chests. This is a good thing because regular gold chests are easy to come by and you can get them year round. So you have to open regular gold chests to get a character's feats. So you see, I have all the gold chest feats. I just need to pick up the gem feats now for Veronica. Don Jazz TV, I'm having problems with variants that require evil characters. So yeah, there's some of those in this event. Yeah. So you have Veronica, Baloth, Valentine, Archon. You also have Jarlaxle. Jarlaxle's an evil champion. I don't know who else you might have, but for the core champions, you're going to have Jarlaxle, Makos, and Archon for sure. I think that's it. Is she evil or just neutral? She's neutral. Okay, that's what I thought. She kind of went a little dark on her trip, but yeah, still neutral. Yeah, so look at those to start off with, and you can always get more later. If it's so in the event though, you should be okay with who you have. If you're talking about non-event variants, you may just have to hold off on those until you have more evil champions. Demon Grr, is there a pity timer for purple epics per number of champion gold chests earned? Yes. So remember how I said I wasn't guaranteed to get all 6 epics from 50 gold chests? It's because the number you need is 54. Why is it an odd number like 54? When you first get any kind of chest, I'll demonstrate this in the shop. When you first get any kind of chest, you will see a purple bar under it in this inventory page, and it will say guaranteed epic equipment in one of the next 4 chests. So when you first encounter a new kind of chest, the pity timer is 4. Now, when you actually get a gold, the normal pity timer is 10. So if you don't get a gold, if you don't get an epic item in 9 chests, you're guaranteed on the 10th. When you start, it's on 4 though. So you're guaranteed an epic pretty fast as long as you get 3. You get 3 guaranteed from the variants, and if you can just get 1 more out of free plays, which at worst you're going to get it on your 4th free play, you'll be guaranteed an epic. For an event champion. So that's always kind of a good thing to work towards, is do all 3 variants, get your 3 chests, and then do a free plays for each one until you get a gold, because then you're at least guaranteed 1 piece of epic gear on all the new champions. Now, you saw the difference between blue and purple gear. When I was in full blues, it wasn't a huge difference from epic. So I consider champions functional in blues. And that's easy to do just with Electrum chests over time. You get like 40 Electrum chests a week, folks. As long as you're tracking down all those codes, there's a channel in the Discord for it. There are usually posts on the Reddit. There's websites for it. You can get all those codes, and you can at least get your event champions and new champions to blue gear. And then they're functional for you. It's just, this is a game of incremental bonuses stacking up. So working towards full epic is a long-term goal you want to do. It just isn't required right away. Mazari, why does Prudence free play cost 1,000 loot strings, but Voronika costs only 500? Because you did Prudences once. So the cost starts at 500. Every time you do a free play, the cost goes up by 500. So you've done a Prudence free play, and now the cost is 1,000. You do another one, it's going to be 1,500. You do another one, it's going to be 2,000. And you do another one, it'll be 2,500. You do another one, it's 2,500 again. You do another one, it's 2,500 again, because 2,500 is the cap. This was a change they put in a while back, because originally they were always 2,500, if I remember correctly. And they lowered the cost so that it basically it gives people a chance to get more gear during events for less tokens. I'm assuming this is for this event, Riff Raff. Which order would you try to get all purples in? If you've got those kind of tokens, I would full epic Omen. If you have enough tokens to full epic to try to full epic all of them, I would try to full epic Omen for. Well, here's the thing. I don't know that you need full epic. I would try to get these 3: his Shadow Council, Champion Tymora, and Contractual Obligations epic. That makes them highly usable because you're buffing all of his buffs and his gold find bonus for his Zaka farming. Then I would go to Voronika and I would do the same. I would look for Calculating Guidance and Ultimate Power, at least these 2. These are bonus. I don't worry about the ultimate stuff too much if I'm just trying to get as many epics as possible. And then Prudence, these 3 again for Prudence, right? So you don't necessarily need full epic if you can get the right epics. But if you were going to go for full epic, Omen, then Voronika, then Prudence. And I only put Omen first because this is going to be Omen's last event. So it is easier to get full epic in an event than out of an event. Out of an event, you can still do it with time gates and patron chests. Totally fine, but yeah. If you can get those, I would, depending on how many blacksmithing contract or bounty contracts you have, you may not necessarily need full epic for everyone. Just need the right epics. Cranrook. Oh wow, I never looked at Voronika's cooldown. Crazy slow attack speed. Is she the slowest? As far as I am aware, she is the slowest. I believe 10 is the slowest. In her slot, Sisaspia exists. And hers is real slow too. but it's not 10 seconds slow. 10 seconds slow is, I'm pretty sure, the slowest base attack we have. Yeah. If you want, you can, again, I forgot to do machine gun. We're going to do we'll show machine gun, Voronika. Oh, you know what? We can do that right now. Let's do machine gun Voronika, if I can. I may be forgetting who's in what slot. Let's see if we can machine gun some people here. How do I want her to do this? We're going to want like this. I need Whittle. I need Whittle in the middle. Whittle is an attack speed boosting champion. But more than that, and what we're going to manipulate here, because Whittle will speed up the attacks of the people adjacent to her, based off the fastest attack speed around her. So right now we've got Prudence next to her. Prudence is at 5.5. Well, suddenly Voronika is now at 5.5, right? So we already cut Voronika's attack speed in half just by that feature of Whittle. But Whittle has another feature called Hurry Up Now, where there's a 25% chance to immediately reset any of the adjacent champions' base attack cooldown. This is key to machine gun any champion. So we're gonna do 3. I'm gonna put her here. Alindra is part of the Heroes of the Plains. So is Whittle. So we have an effect. Alindra has an effect called Portent, which buffs certain champions. As you can see, everybody now has a portent. It's a little eye symbol. It's up to. I chose a specialization that puts it up to 3 champions. But what happens with Alindra is her Heroes of the Plains ability is actually their like cornerstone ability. Like their affiliation ability is all on Alindra. Don't usually like that. I don't really like it here, but I like the buff that comes off here for Whittle. Vampiric gaze effects on the portented champion increased by thousands of percents. What does that mean? That means Hurry Up Now is a portented ability, and now there's a 655.5% chance to immediately reset their base attack cooldown. Folks, all you need is a 100% chance. If you watch, this is machine gun. They're just firing off. Every time they're done with their basic attack, they're firing it again. The animation is what it's capped by, and this is why I don't like Eldritch Blast. You'll notice Voronika's just back there going, yes, I like this. Everybody die. Whereas Prudence is like, Eldritch Blast is just not the greatest. It's not the greatest. It's so slow. But yeah, this is how you build a machine gun comp. Now, that doesn't mean it's a good composition. I want to be very clear. Just because you're attacking fast does not mean better. But this is where we are. Now, Hunger of Hadar. Remember, with Prudence, I picked this. I did pick the spec that resets this, so we can magnet, and then if we watch this, eventually, she's just going to trigger an immediate cooldown of her ultimate, and so you can just fire off her ultimate a lot. If we were somewhere where we weren't killing things instantly, this would be a lot cooler. Because see, Hunger of Hadar is already back. Because you just see things just popping off all the time. Everybody's just popping off all the time. So there you go. If you want to know how to machine gun, it takes Whittle and Alindra, and it works on any champion. You just have to set up Portent correctly. Hold on, I'm not sure what. Okay, that's that. All right, we'll come back to that. That's not an event thing, right? Lewis here. Omen Assassin, furthest by slot or by column? No, just furthest adjacency. Furthest adjacently. That's more particular. So if I have Omen here, the furthest is going to be Baloth all the way in the back. Right? And that works if I put Omen anywhere up to like through here. If I put Omen if I put anywhere up to here, if I put Omen in here, it becomes both the front and the back. Because you're counting adjacent slots. So keep that in mind. Riffraff, why does your description show more information than mine? Yours has a lot more stacking information. Yeah. They try not to overwhelm people with too much information. So if you go under display, or no, interface, and you check effect description advanced, you'll get a little more description on some abilities, but not all. This is because they feel like, well, there's a lot of information in the game. We don't want to overwhelm people, but that's how they decide to trigger that. They need that. They need more information on other abilities, though, too. Draji, for the Army of Tymora achievement, do you need to fill the entire formation, or you complete it with a partial formation? It needs to be a full formation. I think it says that. Let me double check. It doesn't say. It just says maintain a champion of Tymora on all champions in the formation. I remember it only triggering. This is why I liked Sword Coast. Only triggering if you had a full formation. If that's changed, I don't know. I got it 2 years ago. Yeah. I already answered that in chat. Stigler, do you think that Voronika is an ideal champion for the Tale of Two variant? So you mean like Tale of Two Champions? Is that what we're talking about? No. Not at all. So the Tale of Two Champions is, if that's what we're talking about, is a variant off of Baldur's Gate. It's off of Tale of Two Cities. Tale of Two Champions only lets you put 2 champions in your formation. Voronika real bad for this one because, she needs so much to trigger her Dark Lord form, but even then, she's not providing what you need here. To do this one, you need to start with 2 champions that provide lots of gold find. Are like Jarlaxle, flat gold find bonus, and someone else who gives you just a large flat gold find bonus so that you have a lot of gold find. And what you're doing is you're putting a familiar on your click damage upgrade and a familiar on the field, and you're letting the familiar kill everything. You're killing everything with click damage. So you're going gold find champions so that you can kill as far as possible with click killed. Now, if you have enough favor, you're done. You just click all the way through 250 levels. You're great. If you don't, you're going to slow down. Things are going to start hitting the champions, and you're going to have to switch to a debuff champion first. I like Gromma for this. I like Gromma in her Arctic spec. Put her in front, put Jarlaxle in the back and her in front, and then you get a mix. You get debuffs and a tank, or a tanky champion, and Jarlaxle for gold find. And then Gromma's going to slow everybody's movement down with her Arctic spec, so they're approaching the formation slower, and when they get to her, they'll be attacking slower. And she debuffs them so they take more damage, so your clicks are doing more damage, right? So that, and then you go as far as you can with that, and when that's not enough, then you swap Jarlaxle out for another debuffer. I like Krull for that. And then it's click debuff. This is where click debuff came from, where people learned how to click debuff. So basically, then you're just building up debuffs that you're then using click damage to kill your way through. So this is a favor-based thing, but it's also gold find champions at the start, a pair of debuff champions at the end. Voronika is not either of those things. You're not actually getting through this by putting 2 strong champions in that kill things. You're getting through this by gold generation and debuffing. Oh, I might as well. Might as well keep leveling them up. Does the price of free plays carry over through the years? No, it does not. Valdemar Night Road. No. So every year it resets back to 500 at the base, which is why mine said 500 and 1,000, because otherwise, I did tons of those last year. And the year before, and the year before, and the year before. McShizman, with machine gunning Veronica, would her flames stack on an enemy? I don't believe so. I believe it would just reset it, because all it's doing is ticking it's ticking your bud damage 1 second. I think 1 second of bud damage every second for 5 seconds. So I think it would just probably refresh the stack. That's a dev question though. You're going to have to ask them to find out. You can either ask on Dev Insights, or you could ask in the Q&A on Reddit, and see if they can find out. Because I don't think you can just stack up the bud damage. Keep in mind, in her Dark Lord form, I don't know if she sets bud, because she just her basic attack becomes a burn based off bud. So I don't think she can be your actual DPS. You still have to have a DPS. It's just that burn is a nice bonus. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top. The rest of these are more general questions, which is fine. But we only have about 19 minutes left before we're done. And then no more streams for the weekend on this channel. However, about an hour-ish after this stream, I'll be streaming on my channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. If you want to come hang out with us, we do Final Fantasy Saturdays. Today we got the Pixel remasters. We're finishing Final Fantasy 2 on stream today, guaranteed. And then we'll start Final Fantasy 3. Come join us for that later. Do the patron variants count for the complete X adventures or variants to access this variant? No, they do not. Those descriptors were created before patrons existed. They've never been updated to say X adventures or variants, not counting patron variants. They don't count that. So it's just the regular ones. Fiber Fresh, total noob here. Welcome to the game. It's cool. Everybody's welcome. Everybody started out knowing nothing about this game. And then, some of us have been here for 5 years and written lots of guides. Is there a way to check character stats from the campaign map? Not currently. Speaking of 5 years, it's something that's been asked for the last 5 years. But yeah, currently none of that information, when you're on a map screen and you've completed an adventure on a map screen, none of that information is even loaded up into supposedly to the client to get access to it. So they would have to change how the map screen works for that. Lord Javax, what is your wild offer? I think we're in the middle of a wild offer storm this weekend. This happens where they'll be active for like 3 or 4 hours at a time, and then a new one comes up. This is Dahani's Paint Them Red, which is not horrible for $10. That's a lot of gems. I don't need time gates. She's full epic. I mean, it's bounty contracts, clairvoyance. I mean, this and these two things would be really what I'd truly be getting out of this. So probably not for me. I don't think I need Paint Them Red that badly. I mean, it's not bad. It's a good item for her. Man, I can live without it. Valdemar Knight, do you have any advice on picking up the Golden Dragons achievement? This is the one I had to go look at. So this is a gold find. This is just a regular achievement, but it is the highest gold achievement. So you basically, I know it says 999 E199. Basically, you need to earn E200 gold. 1.0 E200 gold. What's my advice on earning this? Be patient. Be patient. This is going to take getting well past level 1,000. Well, it's going to take at least getting to level 1,000. I think probably a little past the level 1,000. I can't remember exactly when this triggered. And knowing how to Azaka farm with optimal gold find champions. Like, it's going to take you a little while to get this. I didn't even worry about trying to rush this kind of like the gold find ones. I just got there when I got there. But yeah, really, really good Azaka farming. Otherwise, you're just going to need lots of power to push real far. There's somebody out there that can probably tell you what stage you'd have to get to for it to drop E200 gold. But yeah, it's just kind of a patience thing. It's kind of a patience thing. What am I in progress now? Oh God, I haven't even done this one. All right, I should probably do that just to mark it off. Supercharged process mode run output. Oh yeah, I'm working on that. I supercharged one of my cores this week, and I'm super happy with it. But it could be better. I need better pieces. Need a couple more trials of Mount Tiamat, and I got legendary stuff to do. So yeah, I'm missing 13 achievements currently. But I'm not worried about it. Circa, is it useful to open silver chests after all evergreen champions are at least green? They can still, I mean, silvers drop up to blue, so yes. And keep in mind, even after that, they're going to give you duplicates, which increase item levels across your core and evergreen champions. Now, what I stopped doing after green is I stopped buying silver chests on new accounts, and I only buy gold chests. Because you're going to just accrue silver chests naturally. That's the wrong button. You're going to accrue silver chests naturally. I have 500 since Wednesday. I've earned 500 silver chests since Wednesday because of speed running. I don't buy these because I just earn so many of them. So yeah. So it's more a switch then of what you're buying. You can still open them, but just don't buy them anymore. Hecateras, is Vi useful speed formations for gem farms? Oh, I don't. We're really unsure of what Vi exactly does. And I think we've all made that clear to the developers. And they've said, yeah, I think we need to create like something that explains what every speed ability does. And that would help the community and it would help the developers. And they haven't done that yet. I'd like them to. Because Vi's a little hard to figure out if she's a gem farmer or if she's more of a deep run speed. Hard to say. Stargazer, I got one strange thing. I have Tyrell with Moonbeam, put him on a far position with only one adjacent champion, but none of the other champs got the Moonbeam buff in incoming, outgoing. Right, this is normal. This is another thing that I wish they would change. So right now, if we go, if we read what Moonbeam does, it says increases the damage of all champions by an amount. Any effect that increases damage all champions, or all champions in the formation, either way that reads, doesn't show up on incoming effects. Because incoming effects has to be something that's from like a blessing or a perk, or it's doing specifically like a positional ability or something. If it says damage all champions or all champions in a formation, it's not going to show up. It's also not going to show up in outgoing. Well, it does show up in outgoing here. It says total bonus. You can see the amount, but it's never going to show up on incoming. I am a big proponent of them adding another, like we have outgoing effects, we have incoming effects. I would love at the bottom for there to be a header that says global effects and list off all that stuff over there for anybody that wants it. Like maybe if you click that advanced options, yeah, because then people would see it at least and know it's working. But you just kind of have to hope or trust that it works when it says damage all champions. Shraven, would you buy familiars first or gold chests? When you start the game, the first thing you want to buy is the Mage Hand familiar for 250 gems because it's a bargain. And it helps you click early on when you're brand new, which is nice. After that, it really depends on how many gems you're earning and are you spending them right away on chests. I generally recommend chests a lot, but if you look down and you have enough gems to buy a familiar, you may as well buy it because you're already there. But saving up for one, early on is very important to just buy chests as much as possible because that gear is going to help you out a lot. Gear is power, chests are power, but also you're getting other consumables that are power. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Autocram. Oh, you have a good question. And I'm so afraid I'm going to screw it up. Can you explain the appliance of pre versus post stack in regards to buffs? Okay. So let's go over here. Because we have ultimate power, which is a post stack multiplier. Oh, I hope I don't screw this up. So Vornik increases the effect of calculating guidance by, for me, it's over 1,000% for each of those. And they stack additively, right? So when you have a pre-stack buff, a pre-stack buff would affect this number, calculating guidance 1478, right? So if we have pre-stack bonuses, it would affect the pre-stack number, and then you would multiply it by the number of stacks and get a total. When you have a post-stack multiplier, like here, we take this times the number of stacks, and then we multiply it by a post-stack bonus, which is 2,160%. This gives us multipliers and a total bonus, yada, 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 right? We end up with a nice big number. We really like... I'm not going to get into statements because honestly, I don't do all of this math. I'm not the math person. There are math people in the Discord. They're going to get you a much more detailed answer. What I am going to say is when you have a bonus that stacks multiplicatively, like calculating guidance, right now we have, 2 stacks, and we're getting a post-stack bonus, but then there's a post-stack multiplier, and then we have a total bonus of EO9. But we're stacking multiplicatively. When you have a multiplicatively stacking thing, so each stack gets multiplied by itself, a pre-stack bonus is huge and probably broken. Because those are you're making the number that's multiplying against itself even bigger. Whereas if you do it post-stack, a little more balanced, right? You already know the maximum number that something could get to in the stacks, and then you can raise the post-stack multiplier and keep it within a more balanced amount. So usually we're looking at, when we're talking about stacks, we're looking, is it additive or multiplicative? Additive is small. Like we saw, I had 9 evil champions in, 9 stacks additively was 900%. We were getting most of our bonus from the post-stack stuff, right? But once it went multiplicatively, the number just exploded because 100% is then, it's not added 100%, it's multiplied. And basically you're just adding zeros onto the end of the number, right? Because that's how multiplying 100 times 100 works. 100 times 100 then becomes 10,000, right? So, and it just gets huge. That's why Krull is overpowered. That's why Freely is overpowered. And that's why Voronika's ability is so strong once you trigger Search for the Crown. So having the multiplier, if it was pre-stack, would just blow those numbers up. That's how Krull has a pre-stack multiplier. I think Freely has a pre-stack multiplier. It's a little wild. That's their numbers once they get in there is pretty wild. Having it post stack, a little less powerful, but more balanced. So we still get a super strong ability with this. It's just not, outrageously strong. Some abilities, like this one, because it can go to 1,000,000 stacks, if they had done a pre-stack multiplier, again, because of the number of stacks, that probably... We already have a pre-stack multiplier. It looks like this... Because this went up 1478, we have a pre-stack multiplier on probably this item. It's probably giving a pre-stack multiplier. And then we're getting a post-stack bonus somewhere else. Probably from... well, I don't know. Something's modifying that post-stack. Upgrades. No, it's upgrades. Our upgrades are raising, that's what it is. The upgrades that she get are raising it to 1478. The items are probably providing the post-stack bonus. So yeah, you just kind of... It's one of those things where we have asked that if they could, add like, hey, either in this description or in the item, it's probably better in the description, because this says it stacks additively and applies multiplicatively, sure, but does how does the item affect it? How does the feat affect it? Is the item pre-stack or post-stack? Is the feat pre-stack or post-stack? Like, we need that information. We don't really have it, but usually you can tell just by slotting. It's like if I come over and slot ultimate power, it was 1478. Now it's 2069. That's a pre-stack multiplier from the feat. So you can kind of figure that out, which that's nice. If you stack this up, that makes that a nice feat. So that's kind of the difference. If you want something a little more detailed, I think I hit most of the notes, but if you want more detailed about why it's better and what's better when, somebody that likes math in the Discord can probably help you out. Last question, because I got to go to lunch. MD Caden, what is a good number of silver chests to hold in reserve for events, new campaigns, etc. after all blue on Evergreen? Once I reach all blue on Evergreens on my core and Evergreen champions, I then, on a new account, I stop opening silvers until an event happens. So however many you have at that point. Silvers don't drop a whole lot for you. They drop potentially the smallest potions. They give you gold and they give you items. Well, item levels. Potentially shinies. They can potentially give you shinies. You don't have to. You can continue to open them if you want. I personally don't. And then I just open them in bulk when an event rolls around. But there isn't necessarily a number that you have to hold. But it's the same with Electrums. If you've got all blue gear across all champions, you can hold on to Electrums until the next event or until you unlock a champion from a time gate, because you don't need to open them. The gear is just going to be duplicates. So save that for what I did today, and help you jump to blue right away, and make those champions more functional. Right. That's going to be it for today, folks. Again. No more streams on this channel for the weekend. Streams will return on Monday. Is there anything wild about that? No, normal streams on Monday. I also stream on my own channel. If you want to come hang out with me, I stream Idle Champions. I stream some other games. Again, like in an hour-ish, we're going to be doing some Final Fantasy. If you want to come hang out with us. We play the game, but we also talk about how hilarious game design was in the 80s versus now, because it was. Oh boy. Yeah, that's it. So until then, have a great weekend. The song we're going out on, because there isn't a song for Prudence or Voronika yet, this is, I chose another Dark Lord. This is Ballad of the Black Rose for the Lord Soth. Bye, everybody.
Night of the Black Rose, breaker of his oaths, assassin of his blood, so forever judged, damned by love's last breath, to linger in undeath, cursed by his own needs, to live eternally as the years go by, as I live and die. Lord, Son, unforgiven sin, Lord, Son, running from deep within, Lord, Son, his blame he'll never own, Lord, Son, his hatred is shining bright, till blood stain the night. Roses, jagged thorns, pierce the night once more. Crimson shining bright, shadows consume the night. Words pay for his sin, his judgment never